Can you describe your day in English without stopping? Let's learn how.
Welcome, everyone, to English Podcast Edge. One of the most fundamental things we do every day is we'll just live it. And being able to talk about that day, your routine, it's such a key part of connecting with others, right?
Exactly. It really is. We've looked at some great material to really dig into how you can confidently describe what you do, from morning till night.
Yeah, think about it whether you're making small talk or catching up with friends or even like in a professional setting.
Mm-hmm.
The topic of daily life often comes up. So having the language to articulate your routine smoothly is just invaluable.
Absolutely. So we're going to explore some common phrases and how you can kind of weave them together naturally.
Okay, let's get straight into it then. Let's start with that first part of the day, the morning. Now, a very common way to begin is with wake up. For example, you might say, I wake up around 7 a.m. Maybe try saying that. I wake up around 7 a.m.
Good. And what often follows, well, for many, it's brush my teeth.
Yeah.
You could say, then I brush my teeth and wash my face. Give that a try. Then I brush my teeth and wash my face.
What's interesting, too, is how people approach their mornings. It's not always the same jump out of bed routine, is it?
No, definitely not. Some prefer a more gradual start. You might hear someone mention a gentle way to start the day, maybe.
Yeah, like including some stretching or something.
Exactly. It just highlights how even within a routine, there are these personal preferences.
That's a great point. And speaking of preferences, what about that all-important first drink? Often it's make coffee.
Oh, yeah. Essential for many.
Like after that, I make coffee. Go on, have a go. After that, I make coffee.
Or, something a lot of people do, first thing to feel refreshed is maybe just drink a glass of water.
Right, hydration. It's a small detail, but it often comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we need to get dressed.
Can't forget that.
A simple way to put it is, finally, I get dressed for the day. Your turn. Finally, I get dressed for the day. You see how these actions just naturally flow. Think about your own morning. Do you always do these things in the same exact order?
Probably not always.
Yeah, and sometimes those connecting words like then and after that become almost automatic when you're describing a sequence you know well.
Absolutely. Okay, here's where it gets really useful. Let's try putting a few together. How about I wake up early, brush my teeth, and then get dressed before making coffee.
Nice.
Try saying that at your own pace. I wake up early, brush my teeth, and then get dressed before making coffee.
See? You're building a little mini story of the morning.
Exactly.
You could also think about adding a detail, maybe like having a light breakfast perhaps, to get some energy for the day.
Good idea. It's those little specifics that make your routine, your routine.
Precisely.
Okay, now as the day moves on, so does our routine. Let's talk about the afternoon and work phrases.
Okay.
For many, the next big part of the day is go to work. You might say, I go to work around 9 a.m. Try saying that. I go to work around 9 a.m.
And then, often somewhere in the middle of the day, it's time to have lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Lunchtime.
For example, I usually have lunch at noon. Try repeating. I usually have lunch at noon.
It's interesting how work routines can vary so much, isn't it? Lunch breaks, especially.
Oh, definitely. Some people have very structured breaks. Others might just eat at their desk.
Right.
And the phrase take short breaks is also important, I think. Many find it helps them, maintain focus through the afternoon, keep that energy up.
Definitely. Good point. And in our, very connected world, a common work activity is to check emails.
Constantly, sometimes.
Yeah. A typical sentence is, during the afternoon, I check emails regularly. Your turn. During the afternoon, I check emails regularly.
And depending on your job, you might also attend meetings.
Oh, yes. Meeting.
For instance, I often attend meetings in the afternoon. Try saying that.
Mm.
I often attend meetings in the afternoon.
So let's think. How might these phrases come up if someone, say, asks you about your workday? Like, what does your afternoon look like? Right. How would you respond using these?
You might say something like, well, I go to work, and then I usually attend a few meetings.
Mm-hmm.
I also check emails throughout the afternoon, and then I have lunch. Something like that.
Yeah, try putting a couple of those together yourself right now. See how it feels.
And you can even add those nuances, like you mentioned before. Maybe preferring a light lunch so you don't feel
sluggish.
Yeah, sluggish afterwards. Happens to the best of us.
It does. Those little details really paint a clearer picture of your day.
Okay, so the workday is maybe winding down.
Mm.
As the sun begins to set, our routines shift again. Let's explore evening and free time.
Okay, the unwinding part.
Yeah. A really common way to describe that is to say, relax.
Mm.
You could say, in the evening, I like to relax after a long day. Repeat that. In the evening, I like to relax after a long day.
And following that, many people will make dinner. For example, then I make dinner. Have a go, then I make dinner. What's really interesting about evening routines, I think, is how they often serve as that way to properly unwind. Transition from the busyness of the day to a more restful state.
Exactly. It's that shift. So after dinner, what do people often do? Maybe you watch TV.
Pretty common.
You might say, sometimes I watch TV in the evening. Try that. Sometimes I watch TV in the evening.
Or perhaps you prefer to read a book. Like other times I read a book before bed.
Repeat that one. Other times I read a book before bed.
And you often hear that avoiding screens before bed can be helpful for sleep, right?
Yeah, that's a big one these days.
So reading is a great alternative.
Definitely. And as the day truly comes to an end, we go to bed.
Finally.
The common way to say this is, I usually go to bed around 10 p.m. Your turn. I usually go to bed around 10 p.m.
And some people find that other activities, maybe taking a short walk or having some herbal tea in the evening, that can really help them relax.
Yeah. Like hitting a kind of reset button before the next day.
Exactly that. These evening rituals are just so important for well-being. Establishing a consistent routine can really contribute to better sleep and, overall health.
So true. So, okay, how can our listeners start putting all of this together to describe their own day?
Right. Making it personal.
Think about those key parts: morning, afternoon, and evening. You can often start your sentences with phrases like, in the morning, I usually. Here, why don't you try finishing that sentence now with one or two of the morning activities we talked about? In the morning, I usually.
Good. Then for the afternoon, you could use in the afternoon, I often. Think about what a typical afternoon looks like for you and complete that sentence. In the afternoon, I often.
Okay, and finally, as the day winds down, in the evening, I like to. What do you enjoy doing in the evening? Give it a go. In the evening, I like to.
And remember, you can connect these different parts of your day using those simple words like and, then, after that, before, while. Loads of options.
Yeah, try linking a morning activity with an afternoon one. For example, in the morning, I make coffee, and then in the afternoon, I go to work.
See, it flows.
Oh, and just a little heads up, watch out for those tricky English verbs sometimes.
Uh-oh.
You don't want to accidentally say something funny like, I breakfasted my dog instead of I fed my dog.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that would be confusing.
English can definitely keep you on your toes sometimes.
It can.
Now, here's a little challenge for you listening. We encourage you to maybe record yourself, just on your phone or something, describing your entire daily routine in English.
Yeah, great idea.
Don't worry at all about making mistakes. The goal is just to practice and get comfortable speaking it out loud.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic way to sort of reinforce what you've learned today and really build your confidence in expressing yourself in English.
So just to quickly recap then, we've gone through common phrases for your morning.
Like waking up, brushing teeth.
Right. And we looked at afternoon and work-related phrases.
Going to work, checking emails, having lunch.
Yep. And finally, we covered evening activities.
Relaxing, making dinner, reading a book, going to bed, all that good stuff.
By incorporating these phrases into your vocabulary, you'll find it much easier and hopefully more natural to talk about one of the most universal topics, your day-to-day life.
Definitely. It just takes a little practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep practicing, and you'll be describing your daily routine like a pro in no time. And hey, if you like this content, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help us to keep going.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in.